Act. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Army VFW Post 3324, Commander William Samsky, and then that will be followed by the National Anthem sung by the Baltimore School Choir, led by Melissa Maggio. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear one more time for the Volz Middle School Choir. Certainly there's no sitting there. And thank you to Ronnie and VFW Post 3324. Thank you. The County of Camden has available with requested large print agendas for the visually impaired. If you require the large print agendas, see the clerk, seated to my far right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the meeting of the Camden County Board of Freeholders. We're very pleased tonight to be in Runnymede. It is the practice of the Board of Freeholders to hold our meeting each month in one of our municipalities outside of the county seat of Camden, so that all members of the public will have full access to the meetings of the board. And as is our custom during our road meetings, I will ask the governing body of Runnymede tonight, led by Mayor Calvadas, to come forward, and members of council, so that we can thank them for hosting this event. I will be joined by Freeholder Rodriguez. Ladies and gentlemen, the governing body here in Runnymede, led by Sis and his great members of council. Come closer, we don't play. Well, I don't know about Freeholder Rodriguez, I don't play. We're very proud to call them our partners in governing here in Camden County. This town has always had a tradition of outstanding leaders and leadership. They meet the challenges head on issues such as economic development and recreation. You know, it's not easy being on this Black Horse Pike, which has been in existence for so many years, and so many other towns are subject to decay, but not here in Runnymede. The Pike looks great. It's a thriving business district. It's because of the hard work and leadership of the folks behind us. Congratulations on this award we're about to give you, which is a check from Freeholder Rodriguez to the Borough of Runnymede in the amount of $38,200 for your CDBG allocation. Mayor, would you like to say a few words to introduce your members of council? As we hold our meetings month to month in different municipalities, we ask the governing body for the name of a nonprofit in town that is worthy of some recognition and a small donation for the Board of Freeholders. The governing body in Runnymede has chosen the Social Concerns Ministry. I believe Ms. Pat Henry is here to accept tonight. The Trinity Lutheran Church has been part of this community here in Runnymede since 1926. As the community and congregation grew, so did the church and its ministries. The monthly food pantry was started in the 1990s as an answer to the growing need in the community. The church helps serve over 70 Runnymede families in need of food, clothing, and other items. They also have a closed closet for all ages and collect back-to-school supplies for children in need. So Pat, on behalf of the Board of Freeholders, it's a very small token of our appreciation, and we thank you for all the hard work.
He told me I could say a few words. Now, don't laugh over there. Too many sitting out here know me for sure. And you're lucky I'm not making you sing. Because usually I do. But it so happens I have somebody else leading the choir over there until I get back. And I don't know what they're going to learn from my son, Suzanne. So anyhow, on behalf of the social concerns, I really want to say thank you because there are so many sitting here and many that I don't even know that bring us all kinds of things to our pantry. We have a food pantry that serves the Belmar, Runnymede, and Winter areas, and we are opened up on the fourth Thursday of the morning, on Thursday mornings, from 9 to 11 and 6 to 7 at night. We have about 50 families that we are serving right now. And on top of that, of course, we make sure that as Easter is approaching, all the people will be receiving an Easter basket. And I want to say something to the mayor regarding that, because she has been most grateful in helping us with that. And on behalf of the ministry and the social and every one of you, and guess what? You gotta keep smiling. Oh, show me the way to go home. I had a little big singing a song. Show me the way to go home. Sing backwards. Show me the way to show home. I'm dead on the time. I had a little drink about an hour ago. Had a little phone, receipt, or letter. You can always hear me, it's on this thing. Show me the way to show home.
Well, that was a first. Thank you so much. I'm going to ask Freeholder to come forward and assist me in this next proclamation. This is a community award that we give out as we go through each municipality. Tonight the recipient is the Friends of the Runnymede Public Library. Accepting are Teresa Fortuna, Janine Chu, and Kathleen Holden. The Friends of the Runnymede Public Library is a group of individuals who came together in 2002. The volunteers help raise money for the extras that the library has to offer. Committed to raising funds and supporting such events as the annual Dr. Zeus birthday party, which Freeholder Leonard participates in every year at different libraries, and the reception for parents and families at the annual Gifted and Talented Art Show. In 2013, the Friends of the Library have taken on their largest project yet. With the help of the community, the Friends of the Library has begun fundraising for a digital sign to promote community events throughout the borough of London. So ladies, on behalf of the Freeholders, congratulations, and thank you so much for the hard work.
I'm not used to talking to microphones. This year, when you become a friend of the Runnymede Library, your donation goes directly to the digital sign fundraiser. A family membership is just $10 for the year, and a donation of $150 to become a lifetime friend of the library, and you will receive a brick in the path around the new sign. For membership information, stop by the sign. And again, thank you from the Friends of the Runnymede Library.
I'm going to ask Deputy Director McDonald to come forward and assist with the next presentations. I'm going to ask everybody from Operation Yellow Ribbon to come forward, please. Together with Warrior Road Watch. Please come forward. All the members. Ladies and gentlemen, there are two groups here in South Jersey that make it a point to welcome home returning warriors from overseas, from Afghanistan, Iran, and everywhere else our military serves. And those two groups are here tonight to be honored. Dave Silver is, what's your official title? He's the chief volunteer. He's the chief volunteer for Operation Yellow Ribbon. And Richard Redbeard is the chief volunteer of the Warriors. But let me tell you what these folks do. First of all, they help collect goods for the veterans, for the soldiers, and for the families of soldiers. They collect a lot of goods on their behalf. They also organize these surprise parties, I call them, surprise welcome homes. And they're hero dogs for everybody who returns back from overseas. And I got to tell you, your special part of being a Camden County Freeholder is having the honor and the privilege to participate in the events that these folks hold for the soldiers returning from overseas. It's just a tremendous. Everyone that fights on behalf of our country, that serves in our military, is a hero. They all deserve a hero's welcome back home. The folks behind me make sure that that happens. And they do it in grand style. They also give the local police departments and fire departments that help volunteer. From about 10 miles out from the home of every soldier, you'll start hearing the roar of the motorcycles. And it's not just one or two motorcycles. On a nice day, I would say 20, 30 motorcycles. More than that, 40, 50, I don't know. You can hear them from about 10 miles away. The noise gets closer and closer. In the meantime, Dave is setting up a small little gathering platform with the family of the returning military person. And then they're always surprised to see the whole neighborhood and the whole group out welcoming them home. So it's a very touching event. It's just great that these folks give up, and it's nearly every weekend of their life to do this on behalf of those who fight on behalf of our nation. So, Dave, I'm going to present to you this proclamation. Phil McDonald's going to present to Redbeard. And this is just a small token of our appreciation and a thank you for the hard work.
I want to thank Camden County for having us here. It's an honor to be recognized. But we wouldn't be able to gather here freely and assemble here tonight without our brave men and women who served and who serve now. So to our veterans, to those who serve, we thank you for the freedom to be here today. We are truly land of the free because of the brave. So I thank our veterans.
I know from the Warriors Watch, this isn't why we do it, but it's certainly nice to see that people recognize it. I just want to say that I was handed the letters of appreciation for the other groups. Warriors Watch is just like an umbrella. We ride with, see these other guys that have other patches that are different to that? We ride with those guys side by side. I just want to go through real fast if I could. The Defenders Law Enforcement Motorcycle, South Jersey Chapter 1, South Jersey Chapter 2, South Jersey Central. That's the Defenders. The Nom Knights Motorcycle, Delaware Valley Chapter, the Southern Jersey Chapter, and the Central Jersey Chapter, and the Jersey Coast Chapter. 2nd Brigade Motorcycle Club, the American Legion Post 372, the Christian Motorcycle Association, the Burlington Harley Riders, and the Disabled American Veterans Chapter 44. Those are all represented here today. Thank you very much.
We're going to see, but we're going to attempt one big group photo here, okay?
sound. Are you leaving? I gotta go to Camden.
Freeholder Leonard.
Thank you, greatest confidence. Develop what I know, see what
Good evening.
Is Mike Coyle here for CSU? Tonight I have the honor of awarding the 2012 PSEG Greece Cup that PSEG hands out as service credits along with the Association of Counties. Tonight, the award winner is Daniel. The award is given to a student planning to study environmental science, green design, green technology, and alternative energy at a county or state college. And Daniel's told me he's at Camden County College. That's February. Studying engineering. Daniel was a recent graduate of Camden County last year. He ranked 14th in the class and received honors for his work in heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and refrigeration. Throughout his years at Camden County Technical, Daniel had a strong interest in alternative energy. He is now studying engineering alternative energy at Camden County College. He's the 2000 Camden County recipient for PSEG Degree Scholarship Program. So he's the only person in this county who receives it. And that's truly, truly remarkable. He will receive $550 scholarship that he's graciously gave back to Camden County since we have budget crisis. But seriously, it's remarkable as we start to change with technology in this country that green energy has certainly taken on as a major in a lot of colleges and community colleges throughout the United States. Daniel was a host of one of many, many individuals in this country who 10 years from now, you will see will have a career in a field that wasn't around 10,000 years ago. As times change, it's good to see them be here, not only in this county, but throughout the country when it comes to higher education. We could ask Tim Bell, who's the superintendent of schools, would like to
I'd just like to congratulate Dave. Started at the technical school last March as an interim superintendent. I didn't get to see him graduate, but I know he did get to know him too well. But I certainly like to congratulate him and his family. And from what I hear about him, he was an outstanding student and an outstanding young man. Congratulations.
Danny, as an environmental science teacher and educator, and I'm freeholder, and another child who actually followed my footsteps in and engineering career, I know that you deserve this, you deserve this. Congratulations. Check.
Congratulations. Thank Thank you, SMG. Ladies and gentlemen, we're also joined tonight by our county clerk, Joe Ripa, in the back of the room there. And Joe, our sheriff is here as well, Chuck Billingham, in full sheriff attire. Freeholder Rodriguez will now present the employee of the month.
I'd like to call forward Paul Mokas. And if I could also add Sean Chinky, the Director of Board of Social Services. Well, I heard Paul that you were very popular, so I'm told. You know you're very popular with me, right? Okay, good. Paul is an absolutely amazing employee, and he first came to my attention many years ago when we started off the Code Blue, countywide Code Blue program. Paul was a champion of security at the Board of Social Services. He went the extra mile above and beyond anybody else. He made it possible, he made it work. So, you know, you've always been, in my heart, just a hero. Now, the reason he's being honored today is not because of that. It's because he continues to work that way. His ethics are unbelievable. He always goes above and beyond. He is recognized by his peers in the Board of Social Services as just being an excellent employee, somebody who really works hard, who makes a difference in the lives of others, and just, you know, just an awesome person. So, if you don't mind, I'm going to ask our Director of Board of Social Services, who is actually your director, the person who nominated you to me for this particular recognition. Say a few words.
Thank you, Freeholder. I'm really appreciative of your efforts and your efforts and the opportunity to honor one of our own tonight. Paul is a 20-year employee of the board. I'm only there 2.5 years, and I have been totally impressed with the things that Paul has done. He really is the epitome of a genuine, caring, decent public employee. Recently, one of his big challenges was, a lot of people probably don't know, we used to contract our security services through the county. That was now moved under the Camden County College, and we're joined tonight. I just want to point out Steve Hetherington and Teresa Keating, Paul's direct supervisor, who actually did nominate him. But what Paul did, Paul was responsible for making that transition happen. It was smooth. We have such a professional security force in place, and we're one of those agencies that sees hundreds and hundreds of clients a week. So his work is cut out for him, and I'm just really thankful of his efforts, and I'm really proud to be here tonight to thank him. So thank you, Paul. Appreciate it.
Now, to make sure that Paul continues to get to work on time, we're giving him a plaque. Make sure you're on time. And we're giving him a small token of our appreciation.
Thank you, Freeholder Rodriguez, kind words and for this award. And to the award also, thank you very much. This is very nice, I'm very appreciate it. Thank you, Sean, for the meeting. Thank you for your kind words for the social services, to Teresa Keating for nominating me, to the Camden County College Public Safety Department, Steve Hetherington, Ed Carney, John Shaw, for bringing me on board with this. They're really great to work for. And for all of the public safety employees that we have working for us. We have a great group of people that work for us. They do a fantastic job, and it is a pleasure for me to work with them every day. And realistically, this award wouldn't happen if it wasn't for their hard work and their dedication. So thank you to all of them also. Thank you.
Congratulations, Paul. Good work. Ladies and gentlemen, there will be a couple of opportunities for the public to address address the Board of Freeholders tonight. If you wish to do so, we ask that you sign in at the desk near the entrance to the gymnasium. If you don't sign in, that will not preclude you from speaking, but we'd like to try to do this in a orderly fashion. So if you do wish to speak, please sign a form at the desk at the entry of the building. All right, tonight we have, thank you. Tonight we have the first reading of the refunding bond ordinance of the County of Camden, New Jersey, providing for the refunding of a portion of the county's outstanding general obligation refunding bonds, early retirement incentive, Series 2003, dated March 1, 2003, appropriating not to exceed $6,250,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $6,250,000 refunding bonds of the county for financing the cost thereof. Public hearing to be held on March 21, 2013, at Camden County College Connector Building, 200 College Drive, Gloucester Township, New Jersey, 08102. Do I have a motion to adopt the first reading on the agenda tonight? Roll call, please.
Freeholder Stanton. Leonard. Yes. Gray. Nash. Rodriguez. Yes. McDonald. Yes.
Yes. Next is the first reading of a bond ordinance, amending a bond ordinance entitled the Bond Ordinance of the County of Camden, New Jersey, in connection with the completion of design and construction of various Phase 1 and Phase 2 capital improvement projects at the Blackwood, Gloucester Township campus of the Camden County College, and appropriating $50 million therefore, and providing for the issuance of $50 million in bonds or notes of the county to finance such appropriation. Finally adopted September 23, 2010 by the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Camden, State of New Jersey, in order to provide for a change in the improvements authorized by such ordinance. Public hearing to be held on March 21, 2013 at Camden County College Connector Building, 200 College Drive, Gloucester Township, New Jersey. Do I have a motion to adopt the first reading on the agenda tonight? Roll call.
Freeholder Stanton. Leonard. Yes. Gray. Yes. Nash. Rodriguez. Yes. McDonald.
Yes, next is the first reading by resolution of the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Camden, New Jersey, providing the county's consent to, 1, the financing of the completion of design and construction of various capital improvement projects at the Blackwood, Gloucester Township campus of the Camden County College. 2, the issuance by the Camden County Improvement Authority of its general obligation revenue bonds, Camden County College project, Series 2013, in one or more tax-exempt series and in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $13,500,000 for the purpose of financing the projects authorized hereby. 3, the loan agreement by and among the county, the Camden County College, and the authority in connection with the financing authorized hereby. 4, certain matters relating to the issuance and sale by the county to the authority of its general obligation bonds, Camden County College project, Series 2013, and one or more series to be issued in connection with the financing authorized hereby. And 5, certain other matters related thereto and pursuant to NJSA 40:37A-56. Do I have a motion to adopt the first reading of the agenda tonight? Roll call.
Freeholder Stanton. Leonard. Yes. Gray. Yes. Nash. Rodriguez. Yes. McDonald.
Yes, the next order of business is the minutes of our previous meeting. I have a motion to adopt, to accept the minutes as presented. Roll call.
Freeholder Stanton. Leonard. Yes. Gray. Yes. Nash. Rodriguez. Yes. McDonald.
Yes. The next item is correspondence. Madam Clerk, do we have any correspondence?
Director, we do. We have an email that was received from Camden County website, and it's from Tim Duran in Collins. Hello, Camden County. My name is Tim Duran, and I am co-owner of South Jersey Sport and Social Club. We operate co-ed adult sports leagues and social events in South Jersey and use
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next item of business is the Comptroller's Report. Do I have a motion? Roll call.
Freeholders, Gencek. Leonard. McBride. Nash. Rodriguez. McDonald. Director Capella.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this next portion of the meeting is open to the public for discussion of the resolutions to be acted upon tonight. There will be another public hearing later in the meeting at which members of the public can ask any questions they want regarding the business of Camden County. This portion is limited to discussion of those resolutions that we will be acting on tonight. I now declare this public hearing open. From the notes I've been given, Jim Cummings and Lynn Cummings would like to speak regarding the resolution regarding the Jake's Place. Your faces. You can turn it around.
Well, we're very happy to be here, and thank you so much for allowing us to be.
We speak here tonight on behalf of Bill Jake's Place, the organization that has built the county's and the area's first boundless playground in South Jersey. But really, we're here tonight on behalf of 12,000 children of Camden County who are disabled. And until we had the cooperation of the freeholders to build Jake's Place, they had no place to play in an organized fashion. And we want to really thank you tonight for your gracious support of that entire endeavor.
Just as a little bit of a recap, we went to the freeholders in 2007, shortly after our grandson passed away, and we had a $5,000 check from friends of ours who said that they gave that in Jake's name. So with $5,000 and a giant dream of our daughter and son-in-law, we asked the freeholders, is there any location that we could grow this $5,000 and have some land? So I think very generously the freeholders said, yes, if you can raise the money, we'll find the land. I don't know that you all believed us, but you never showed it, and you never did anything but encourage us. So I think you were as surprised as we were when we finally got to building that playground. And a playground will never take the place of a child, but we built it with the idea that seeing children smiling, children in wheelchairs and walkers and children with autism, playing with healthy, normal children, which they never get to do, was something that would have happened for our grandson. He would have been one of those kids. So seeing the smiles, the happy kids, they're squealing, they're laughing, that's the wonderful memorial that Jake's Place, Boundless Playground, has given to us and our family, and for that we are eternally grateful to you, and so excited for this next project of a miracle field.
I will say that the most challenging part of the Jake's Place was raising that other $495,000. But we did it in 4 years, and we did it with the cooperation of you guys and also the generous support of all the people of Camden County. I'd like to say we built that playground on $20 bills, because we really did. And we came again to you and said we had another idea. We'd like to build what they call a miracle field, a field where children that are disabled play baseball, and they play baseball assisted by normally able kids, and it's something that you have to see to believe. And you said yes again, and then you said further yes in light of the actions that's taking place here tonight to actually fund that playground for these children. And we really want to thank you on behalf of these kids, because they love it. I mean, they really love it.
I'd like to introduce two of our 11 board members. Art, raise your hand. Art Aston and Keith German. Keith German is from Fulton Bank. Art Aston is a consultant to people with disabilities and to organizations, and will be currently working at Temple University to help them become all accessible. So I just want to say that the Miracle Field is from other people that have it in their counties and towns tell us that the children who have disabilities and get to play baseball for the first time in their life, many of them, to play any kind of a team sport, though they gain so much from this, what we're really told is that the buddies who are age 12 through 99 are the ones who really gain. So we hope in this county that not only can we serve the population of disabled children, but that we will have more buddies than any other county. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, and I have baseball caps for everybody.
I also just want to say one more thing, is that we're still in discussion, and the Miracle Field isn't the last great thing that's going to happen on that site. So thank you very much. We're going to continue the work.
Very briefly to Lynn and Jim and to your entire family. You are wonderful, magnificent people in our community, and a great tribute to our community. The project that was completed, Jake's Place, is a wonderful tribute to your grandson. And there were so many people who were actively involved in the project. I don't think that when you first approached the Freeholder Board that we could have envisioned the energy and the drive that the two of you, your family, and all of your supporters had displayed to raise $500,000 to build that facility. To a special credit to our Deputy Director, Ed McDonald, to Frank Moran, to Dominic Vesper, Joanne Gorick, and all the other county workers, and so many employees of Camden County that donated their own time and effort to build that facility. And I know what it means to our community. My nephew and my niece are autistic, and they love that facility, as so many other children do. And we want to thank you for making that a reality for our children.
Thank you so much. And there's another fundraiser coming up. I want to make that public. April 14th at Cafe Avenue Lamberti. And if you just call 856-662-4418. The Wine Don't Wine 5. 50 minutes. Great. Thank you so much for what you do. The next person to address the board will be Joe McKinley of Audubon regarding resolutions 68, 69, 70, and 71.
Just because I'm not familiar with it, I was curious what the Camden County Law Enforcement State Trust Fund was, and how is it funded?
It's funded by the state of New Jersey through the forfeiture funds.
So they're going to come up with, I'm not really good at that, that's why I think it's right. But $1.2 million plus dollars for these activities, 77.
Correct. Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak regarding any of the resolutions on tonight's agenda?
John Spector, also State of New Jersey. Touching on stuff within resolutions 68 through 73. Camden County, the County of Camden Department of Police Services. Is this Metro Police Department?
It's from Camden County Regional Police Department.
28 vehicles?
Correct.
What is that for?
For the Metro Division of the Camden County Police Department.
How many people are on the department?
Presently, we have exactly 10 officers. All right.
28 vehicles.
No, obviously, Mr. Smith, we can buy 20 vehicles for $10,000. We have to buy the vehicles in anticipation of the 401 police officers who will be serving the Metro Division of the Camden County Police Department.
They're all going to be uniformed?
The 401, yes, sworn officers.
So why are you only buying 230 units of body armor?
Well, that's the first purchase that will be more in the future.
To date, how many applications have been received?
About 1,100 applications.
And out of them, how many are passed the test?
We are just beginning the background investigations now.
Is this all being funded by, you said it was being funded by the state? How much has been spent on radio advertising?
I don't have the exact number. I can get that.
I see that you're moving ahead, and I'm not going to go through what I said before. I think, what I believe from reading through this, we decided for law. I still think it's a shame that this is not being voted by the people whose government this is. This is in terms of only a few individuals. People's voices are not being listened to, because they're not. It's been a while since I've been here. And so one thing I listened to comments, and as a resident of Camden County, no due disrespect, I'm tired of lying. I've heard this from some of you. You're Camden County, and you're not listening to your constituents. Final question. Yes. It's even legal to ask. Sure, it's not required, so why do you ask? Show me within the open public meeting that where this is allowed. And you say this for everyone who comes and speaks.
Yes, we do.
Thank you.
Thank you. First, you address one of the resolutions tonight?
Yes, resolution number 73.
What's your name, sir?
My name is Darnell Hardwick. I'm the first vice president of the Camden NAACP.
Thank you. What do you say?
I live in Camden County. All right, this resolution authorizes a memorandum of understanding. This was a big discussion at the Camden City Council meeting on February 12th. And it was debated highly. We asked what was, we asked that there's 10 people that were transferred and they're using city equipment. And was this proper? We were told by the city attorney that it was covered under the MOU. But it would appear here that there's no MOU signed concerning the equipment. So we would like to know what equipment, it says certain equipment, what equipment is that?
Okay, we'll provide you with a list.
Okay, so as of right now, it's not approved. So the people that are using, the 10 people that are using the city equipment is really not supposed to happen.
I'm not aware of everybody using city equipment, but
The 10 employees that have been transferred over intergovernmental, what they said, they're not, what equipment are they using?
they have motor vehicles that have been provided by the county of Camden. They are using uniforms that were provided by the county of Camden, computers that are equipment that belong to the county of Camden.
County of Camden, not the city of Camden.
Right.
Okay.
Where'd they get the guns?
Listen, so here's the way it is tonight. It's an orderly fashion. If you're not going to proceed in an orderly fashion, be asked, we will have you removed from the meeting. Would anybody else like to discuss any of the resolutions this evening? All those in favor? Opposed? Public hearing is closed. Ladies and gentlemen, at our caucus on Tuesday evening, the Board of Freeholders reviewed the resolutions to be acted upon tonight. It was at that time that the board discussed items to be voted on. We will be voting on resolutions in blocks based on the unanimous consent of the freeholders. We will begin by voting on resolution number 1 for which there is unanimous consent. Do I hear a motion for resolution number 1?
Freeholders, Gantek. Leonard. McCray. Nash. Rodriguez. McDonald. Director Capella.
Yes, resolution number 2.
Freeholders, Gantek. Leonard. McCray. Nash. Rodriguez. McDonald. Director Capella.
Yes, resolutions 3 through 12.
Freeholders, Gantek. Leonard. McCray. Nash. Rodriguez. McDonald. Director Capella.
Yes, resolutions 13 and 14.
Freeholders, Gantek. Leonard. McCray. Nash. Rodriguez. McDonald. Director Capella.
Yes, resolutions 15 through 40.
Freeholders, Gantek. Leonard. McCray. Nash. Rodriguez. McDonald. Director Capella.
Yes, resolution 41.
Freeholders, Gantek. Leonard. McCray. Nash. Rodriguez. McDonald. Director Capella.
Abstain? Resolutions 42 through 55.
Freeholders, Gantek. Leonard. McCray. Nash. Rodriguez. McDonald. Director Capella.
Yes, resolution 56.
Freeholders, Gantek. Leonard. McCray. Nash. Rodriguez. McDonald. Director Capella.
Abstain, resolutions 57 through 60.
Freeholders, Gantek. Leonard. Nash. I'm sorry, McCray. Nash. Rodriguez. McDonald. Director Capella.
Yes, resolution 61.
Freeholders, Gantek. Leonard. McCray. Nash. Rodriguez. McDonald. Director Capella.
Yes, resolutions 62 through 75.
Freeholders, Gantek. Leonard. McCray. Nash. Rodriguez. McDonald. Director Capella.
Yes, resolution 76.
Freeholders, Gantek. Leonard. McCray. Nash. Rodriguez. McDonald. Director Capella.
Yes, resolution 82. Oh, sorry, resolution 77 through 81.
Freeholders, Gantek. Leonard. McCray. Nash. Rodriguez. McDonald. Director Capella.
Yes, resolution 82. Hearing motion, that resolution does not pass. Ladies and gentlemen, the next portion of the meeting is open to the public. Now that there is public hearing, we will begin with Kelly Francis. Of Camden, New Jersey.
Chairman, Freeholder, staff, last year, I read an article that the Freeholder, on CCNUA was proposing to build a park on the water between CCUMA and again using Falls, which is the liquor plant on the waterfront. There's a vacant lot, a 5-acre lot, that used to be a factory. I think it was American Minerals at one time, but it's been abandoned for a few years. And I read that the CCNUA was giving a grant, $800,000 from open space funds, open space tax funds, to purchase that course, that concerns me because, first of all, that land is zoned in our master plan. It's zoned industrial or commercial, and rightfully so. That's waterfront property, real estate, which is the most valuable land in the city of Camden. And that's where it's always been historically. It's been industrial or commercial throughout Camden's history. And of course, we all know Camden is the poorest city in the country. Those are the latest ratings. And one of the reasons it's the poorest city in the country is because most of its land is tax exempt and it doesn't generate sufficient revenue to provide proper services or even balance its budget. So that's all of that. Now to take 5 acres, now CWA already occupies 43 acres. That's what they occupy now, which is tax exempt, being accounted for so. And to take another 5 acres of that most valuable real estate in the city of Camden and make it a park, which is, to me, is the wrong use, and also to make it tax exempt, because it now becomes the property of the county. So that's 48 acres of land that the city of Camden receives no tax revenue from. And also the county also occupies a total of about 100 acres. When you look at the marina, Woodlands Park, the CCIA, I think, the Battleship Museum, all of that is county controlled property, which is tax exempt. So I thought it was unconscionable to even suggest that to make another 5 acres of Camden's most valuable land tax exempt is the entirely inappropriate. It should not happen. And I'm requesting that you reconsider that plan and somehow market that land for commercial or industrial use. The reason Camden is a poor city is because the people don't have jobs. Bottom line. That's what makes the city poor, when the people don't have jobs. And of course, one time that site provided jobs, and it should be reserved for uses that will provide jobs and generate tax revenues to the city of Camden, so that Camden can eventually one day become self-sufficient and self-supporting. Now, you may or may not know this, but the city of Camden has more parkland existing in the city of Camden per square foot than any other city in the state of New Jersey. You're only 9 square miles, and we have more parkland. So there really is no need for a park on that waterfront, because there are parks all over the city. Waterfront South, across the street from Waterfront South, we've got Staley Park, a block away. Also further down Van Hook Street, where used to be Van Hook, now called North. You have Robert Johnson Park, accessible to all those folks from Waterfront South, plus CCMUA just rehabilitated 96 Park for the uses of people in Waterfront South. So there is...
Mr. Francis, I don't want to cut you short. You're 5 minutes up. You're welcome to come back up or if you want to have the other...
I just want you to reconsider.
We get the point.
I want you to reconsider that. And I went to several CCMUA meetings, and they referred to Freeholder Nash was responsible for the park. Is that correct?
Yes, and I appreciate the MUA doing that. But first, let me say, Mr. Francis, I appreciate you bringing this issue, and I appreciate your interest because you're hitting on a couple of very important points. Obviously, the city of Camden is one of the poorest cities in the country, and to take away potentially rateable property would not be a good idea generally. Let me tell you the reason why we did this particular park. The property in question, which is known to be environmentally contaminated, has been sitting vacant for over 15 years. We were asked by the leadership of Waterfront South to convert that property, to spruce it up, to make it available for the residents so that they would have another access to the waterway. People at Sacred Heart, on Monsignor Doyle, and others have made that request to the county. The county at the same time is looking to invest open space funds in the city of Camden where appropriate. Certainly, we're not interested in taking any potential rateable property away, especially on the river, but it was believed by the city of Camden administration and the people of that community that that was not in the foreseeable future. And they thought it would be enhancing the values of the waterfront south generally to take what is really a dilapidated property and make it something worthwhile for the residents of that community. And at the same time, the CCMUA was dedicated to maintaining that property so that it doesn't fall into disrepair. If there was any reasonable possibility that a business would come in, given the environmental contamination on that site, we certainly would not have done it. But having talked to the neighbors and neighboring businesses, we didn't see that that was a possibility.
And another reason why, because that's the most environmentally contaminated area probably on the East Coast. Between two polluting facilities, you got St. Lawrence Cement, then you got the incinerator, you got all of that pollution, and additionally you have pollution coming from Philadelphia. Okay, you got the Philadelphia port, as it's opposite, you got the refineries in South Philly, and you got the I-95. All that pollution, because we know that the prevailing winds are west to east. So they get it first. And to have families and children in that location, it is not in the best interest of their health.
You are absolutely correct, except a lot of the ground contamination is not from the air pollution, it's from prior businesses at that location. But I'm not going to discount your point that the city of Camden is where many of the air pollutants find themselves. But to the credit of the CCMUA, there's been no water utility in the country that has dedicated more money and more attention and time to removing the air pollution than the CCMUA. The odor equipment that has been installed is state-of-the-art. If you are a resident of South Camden, and I talk to many of them because I'm there all the time, they will tell you that the odor that used to pervade in South Camden has been substantially diminished. You can't eliminate all the odors from the sewer plant, but it is maybe 1/10 or 1/5. It's a minuscule percentage compared to where it was 10 years ago. And that's really a credit to people like Andy Frickin and the leadership of the CCMUA. And to be quite frank, if you talk to the people, the leaders of South Camden, they are thrilled with the effort of the MUA in taking care of that. And they're thrilled that they've taken this abandoned, dilapidated property and have made it available to children.
But it's not healthy, it's not a healthy environment for children and families to be in. Believe me. I've been on the Environmental Justice Advisory Council of the Department of Environmental Protection for the past 10 years as a volunteer, and also on the Work Environment Council. So I know a lot about pollution, air pollution, and environmental justice.
Mr. Francis, do you mind if I don't want to cut you off, but I want to bring up some other folks who want to speak. If you want to come back, that's perfectly fine. Thank you. Carlette Southern Robert of Camden.
and waste of taxpayer funds called Metro Police
I'm sure that many of you are familiar with the 2008 New York bestseller entitled The Soprano State, New Jersey's Culture of Corruption, written by Bob Engel and Sandy McClure, two of the most respected investigative journalists in New Jersey, who spent years uncovering New Jersey's culture of corruption at all levels of government and the blatant waste of precious taxpayer dollars. This outstanding book, documenting case after case of the theft and misuse of taxpayer funds, is also a 2010 book. And we, the taxpayers of Camden County, plan to show this movement, the Soprano State, in every living room and social hall in Camden County prior to the elections of November 2013. Because we want the people of this county to know that we have the same kind of problems here in Camden County. This is not personal. The problem is the culture of corruption. And it's been going on so long that it's not even understood that that's how things are operating. And that's what Bob Engel pointed out in his book. Now, you might be curious why we, the taxpayers and the people of Camden County and your constituents are doing this. The answer is easy. It's very easy. Enough is enough. We have been excluded from the public process, and we will now be heard. With the Metro Police Department, you, the Camden County freeholders, our elected officials, have gone too far. You're wasting millions of dollars of taxpayers' money. You say, Mr. Capelli, that Camden County residents will not pay for this failed plan, that the money will come from the state. Why is it always okay to spend other people's money? Well, in this case, you're spending our money because Camden County residents are also the state of New Jersey taxpayers. We pay state taxes too, so it's our money.
And that's already happening now in Camden, right?
It's our money.
And
It's taxpayer
It happens
money.
right now in Camden City, correct? It's nothing new. Right?
This is not a question, okay? I'm making a statement that our taxpayer money is being wasted at all levels. We made the statement that Camden County residents would not have to pay for the Metro Police plan, that it would be paid by the state. Well, we pay state taxes as well. Okay? I mean, I have a time here where I am going to ask a question. Okay, so, well, I've run out of time.
Okay, you come back up. I'll keep your name.
I appreciate it.
Darnell Hardwick, did you want to come back up? No. Richard Smith of Vineland, New Jersey.
Good evening, freeholders. My name is Richard Smith, and I'm the third vice president of the New Jersey State Conference of the NAACP. I bring you greetings on behalf of our state president, James Harris, the officers, executive committee, and members of the nation's oldest and largest civil rights organization. Let's cut directly to the chase. We're here today in support of the Camden County NAACP. Its president, Landis Kelly Francis, the officers of the Camden Police Department, the 77,000 residents of the city of Camden. We're here to address the issue of the county takeover of the city police department. This to us is a civil right matter, and we, as we did on Tuesday, February the 12th, on the steps of City Hall, we pledge tonight the NAACP support to keep the force intact. We also have the full support of our national office, our national legal department, and our national board of directors. At that time, our president put it best when he said that this fight would be the emancipation of Camden from the county's political bosses. We sincerely believe that if we were in Princeton, Saddle River, Teterboro, or Alpine, New Jersey, we would be having this conversation today. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is a conversation that we're holding tonight because it deals with the city called Camden. Camden is poor, Camden is immersed in poverty. Many of the residents have been beaten down by the harshness of a volatile economy. Their spirits have been broken, and so many politicians and political bosses see the Camden residents as easy targets. Let me be clear, ladies and gentlemen, we believe this transition to a county-run police force is happening because of the race and ethnicity of the city and its police. We all realize that Camden is a crime-ridden city that routinely tops the most dangerous places list. We all agree that Camden needs big change. We know the suffering from the widespread crime that terrorizes the population and demoralizes the police. We know that 42% live below the poverty line. We all know that. But why is that? Well, ladies and gentlemen, a great deal of it has to do with the insidious corruption that has been prevalent in the city for years. It's been the personal bank accounts of numerous politicians who have been more concerned about lining their pockets than they are looking out for the citizens who work hard each and every day against considerable odds to try to make ends meet. Their elected leadership, many of which work for the county, are more concerned about appeasing their political boss than they are about the needs of the residents that they were elected to serve and to represent. Big changes are needed, and we agree. But this county-wide plan is flawed, and I know that you realize that it is flawed. This concept is an untested move that will expand outside control over the city. You are using the residents of the city of Camden as lab rats as you experiment your way to what we hope to be a better police force. The city's laid off 45% of the police force, then they raised the property tax by 23%. 2 attempts from citizen activists to have a plan put to vote were stopped in courts. Now, we talk about voter suppression. That seems like a great definition of voter suppression. The residents are told that you are going to make major changes with officers who are charged to protect them each and every day, but they are not allowed to express their opinion by way of their vote. Oh, by the way, you can't vote about it, residents of Camden, but you will pay for it by way of your tax dollars. Seems like taxation without representation. And now they want to hire a metro police force. Lower salaries, officers from all over the country. That in itself will create problems in the neighborhoods. What's odd is the fact that you want to fire the officers, but you keep the chief. Where does the buck stop? If this was an NFL football team and the team was deficient, not putting out a winning performance, the coach would be fired. They don't fire the players. And where is the buy-in from the police leadership? Where's the love for the residents? The police chief lives in Washington Township, which I believe is Gloucester County, and the deputy chief lives in Eastern Township, and I believe that's in Burlington County. Our state president put it best when he said,
Mr. Smith, I'm sorry.
I can come back if you like.
I'm going to ask you to do this. I'm going to ask Ms. Robert to come back forward. No, you'll come back forward. You'll come back forward. Ms. Robert, you're due to come back up if you like. Okay, fine.
Thank you.
Anybody else from the audience that wish to address the board?
Address first.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead.
Our state president put it best, ladies and gentlemen. He said, do not eliminate the Camden Police Department, find ways of improving it. The NAACP is pro-union and anti-union busting. Unfortunately, the governor in this state, who's a Republican, has decided that contracts now are to be legislated instead of negotiated. That's unacceptable. Unfortunately, many Democrats agree with this governor on that issue, and that's even more disturbing. You have been elected, and you are paid to sit down to do the hard work and negotiate an outcome which is beneficial to all parties involved, most importantly, the residents of Camden. And you should not be so quick to take the easy way out. One of the best solutions that must be a part of this conversation is bringing back a residency requirement for all new hires. The most effective and efficient police forces are those who live in the communities they serve. You have buy-in, a love for the community, and an unmatched desire to ensure that the neighborhoods are safe for our families to live and thrive in. Do the job you were elected to do. Many elected officials and political bosses have said that Camden is the way it is because the residents don't care and they don't vote. Well, that's clear. But when you look at what they are getting from their representation, one would believe that the residents are between a rock and a hard place if they decide to vote. And as I close, Martin Luther King put it best when he says, we are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality. We're tied in a garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly
affects all of us indirectly. So the NAACP's demands are as follows. 1, keep the Camden Police Department. 2, cancel the creation of the Camden Metro Police Department. 3, go back to the negotiation table and work for a compromise that the city and the police union can accept. 4, improve the operational effectiveness and efficiency of the Camden Police Department and its equipment. 5, provide adequate officers and managers that are competent to provide proper public safety for the residents of Camden. 6, enforce a Camden City residency requirement for all new hires. 7, replace the chief of police with a person who has a record to effectively management of all the police departments. And 8, and finally, hold public hearings due to the fact that this board of chosen freeholders appears to be a little lacking in the area of transparency when it comes to this process. Thank you for your time.
Mr. Smith of Vineland, New Jersey. I just want to respond to some of the things you said. You see, for the past few years, the horrible circumstances in Camden City have deteriorated to the point where it is now the most dangerous city in the nation. It is the poorest city in the nation. And if anybody wants to speak out of turn, you will be removed. So this board has taken it upon itself with a new initiative to protect the citizens of the city. We see the civil rights of the children of Camden City to be much more important than any concerns of any union. We see the right of students to walk back and forth to school as being really an important right. We see the right of the parents of these children to walk back and forth to work, to the local market in a safe manner. We call that a civil right. And quite frankly, sir, I don't know who you are, I've never met you, but while this has all been happening for the last few years, you've not stepped foot in Camden City and come forward with any plans. The first time we hear from you is to try to defend a union in this city. That's the first time we hear from you, sir. So for you to stand up here and pontificate as you have, which you have every right to do, Mr. Smith, the first time we've heard from you is tonight. We're going to do what's, sir, I listen to you, I listen to you, I listen to you, you're going to listen to me. Sir, we're going to do what's best for the residents of the city and to make it safe. So when we have a city who can only afford, under current circumstances, to employ about 260 to 270 police officers, we're going to make the changes necessary to hire 401 officers to make the city safe again. That's what we're going to do. That's the bottom line. And that's only step one. That's not going to cure everything in the city. But you know what? Nothing in the city is going to get cured until it's a safe city. Ms. Robert, would you like to say a few words?
Before we move on, just really quick. I think it's a great opportunity that the representation from the friends have known a long time. We've always been out there fashioning things to one of the things I like to extend is just not taking anything away from my time. It's a real opportunity because I haven't had a chance. And I know it was alluded to tonight, and I use this all the time. It's facts. I haven't seen anything. I don't use that as leverage for the fact. But because I really don't know everything that you've been told behind those doors and vice versa, I think it would be prudent and maybe we could all sit down just for a few minutes. So as a representative of this board, a resident of Camden, maybe I can just get more insight as to what it is that you want, what the real issues are here, and how we can start working on the full solution. Because I think that's one of the things that's been lost in all of this, is that we have residents, we have employees that are representatives of municipalities in this county, maybe even other counties. We've all got to this point. Mr. Frank has been fighting a long time. I'm newer in this game, so to speak. I don't have a game like Martin. But everyone that has an issue with this particular issue, so to speak, has seen where we've been for the last few years. We just didn't wake up one morning and say, oh my God, we have to pass. We've all seen it. So whether we've elected people that we wish we didn't, we've elected people that did a good job, we have a chance now to start to turn the corner and do some good things. So my ask of representation tonight from the RBCT is that you get with my aide, Eric Green, and we can get some time on the calendar as soon as possible. Because I would really like to sit down and speak.
Ms. Robert?
It's very heartwarming to hear that you would like to sit and meet with the residents of Camden. I also am a resident of Camden. I went to Rutgers 4 years ago. I worked in the community on many community projects, and I've met with Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, many community members who are very, very opposed to this plan and have serious concerns about how it's being foisted upon residents of Camden. We've been called obstructionists. We've been called names by members of the Freeholder Board, which I think is highly inappropriate. We are your constituents. If we disagree with you, we do that in good faith. We do that with respect, but we also feel that there is a culture of corruption that permeates all of New Jersey and our local governments. Mr. Engel, who was one of the writers of this book, is not a rabble-rouser. He's a very esteemed journalist. He talked about many of the incidences that have occurred in Camden County as well as throughout the state. So these are not new issues, and we believe that what is happening with the Metro Police Department plan is symbolic of a lot of those same concerns. Now, the question I have has to do with how these bids were led in 68 through 71. I understand that they have to do with the Metro plan. Were they competitive bids, Mr. Capelli?
No, they're state contract.
Were they
Which is
competitive?
competitive. What that means is the state bids for us.
Okay, so they have been put out for bid, or
Yes.
they will be put
Now,
out?
they have to. At the state, now, just so you can understand the process. The state of New Jersey serves as the bidding agent for all the municipalities of the state of New Jersey on these particular items that you see. So the state goes out, asks the world for their best numbers, and then those products then become competitive for us.
Well, okay, in this case, you're saying you're going to be competitive. One of the problems with government in New Jersey is that many of the bids are not done competitively. We want to make sure that any taxpayer money that is being spent on these bids or any others that are in fact, I've nothing against any of the vendors that are being considered for this, but as a person who worked in government and I handled multi-million-dollar RFPs and bids, I'm very familiar with the process. And New Jersey is known for not having a competitive process. We want to ensure there is. Now, is there a public information on how the state is handling this? Okay.
We get that.
Who in your office would we talk to?
Brett, come forward, see Brett, raise your hand, Brett. If you come see him after the meeting, he'll guide you in the right direction.
All right, well, thank you very much.
And by the way, Camden County, I believe, under the leadership of Freeholder Nash, became the first county in the state of New Jersey to bid all contracts.
Very good. I'm glad you did. Okay, well, the second issue has to do with something that was touched on by our representatives from Camden and the NAACP. And that is that we are officially requesting the citizens and taxpayers of Camden City and County that we have a public meeting that will be held prior to March 31st, 2013. And I'm asking you tonight to make a commitment to hold that public meeting prior to the end of March 2013. We want to have a public meeting and be involved in the process of how you are considering this. We are asking for that tonight.
Okay, well, we have a public meeting every month. This is a
I'm not talking
special
about,
meeting.
I'm not talking about a special meeting, yes. A special meeting specifically on the metro plan,
We'll discuss that in our next caucus.
which will be,
Our next caucus is the third, second Tuesday of next month. March 19th.
March 9th. So that would be 19th. Well, that wouldn't give very much time before the end of March.
Well, you see, we only meet twice a month. I caucus in a regular
But
meeting.
tonight, you can put a motion on the table to have a public meeting prior to March 31st. You wouldn't do that.
I'm going to discuss it at our caucus, like we do every other issue on March 19th.
Okay, so what you're saying is that you won't consider putting on the table tonight for you to consider and vote on having a public meeting?
That's correct. We'll do it at March 19th.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Francis?
I know a lot of folks are not familiar with the national organization for the transportation of WCP, but we are just one organization. The NWCP is one organization that has many units. We all abide by the same constitution, the same resolutions. We are bound to enforce whatever our board of directors approve or ratify. It's one organization, they're like Sears and Roebuck. You have a corporate headquarters, I think in Chicago, and you have stores all around the country, maybe overseas. That's the way we roll. We're one organization, we speak with one voice. Mr. Smith came here today to speak on behalf of the state conference of the NWCP branches. There are 41 branches throughout the state of New Jersey. We're all under one leadership, and our president is James Hart. And there are 50 state conferences around the country, but we all are under the umbrella of the national organization. Actually, we are an international organization because we have branches in Europe, we have branches in Asia, and we have branches in the Caribbean. And we also have a seat on the United Nations as an NGO or non-governmental organization. Check out the United Nations website and you will see us listed as an NGO. So we are an international organization. And we all subscribe to the same principles, philosophy, and like I said, Mr. Smith, he was speaking on behalf of our state conference of branches. He's the third vice president of our state organization. And you've been to you were at our last convention in, I forget where it was, but you were there, and you saw branches from all over the state represented. And that's who Mr. Smith was speaking for. Our state president, unfortunately, could not be here tonight. He had a prior engagement, but he originally was planning to attend this meeting and speak on behalf of the state. Last Tuesday, we had our deputy general counsel come to Camden and pledge support from the National Board of Directors. Okay? So they are supporting our effort. Our state is supporting our effort, and of course the county. I've been speaking on this issue since the very beginning. Okay? So you've heard from me. You know what my position is. I just wanted to explain, because most people don't know, if you're not a member of the NAACP, you really don't know how our work. But we are one organization, we speak with one voice. And if you don't speak with that voice that comes from our National Board of Directors, you are removed. Okay? You may not know, but we had a branch for the first time in our history, New Jersey history, that was shut down. All of the officers were removed because it did not comply with the Constitution. Very simple. We don't tolerate non-compliance with the Constitution. But that's why we're here, and that's why Mr. Smith is here.
Thank you. Mr. Schmidt, welcome back.
Thank you. I'm really glad
what is it with whispering back and forth? Some of you are different.
Mr. Smith, do you have any other issues?
Every issue is important, Mr. Pelly, and you're going to listen to me whether you like to or not. Now that you have that cleared up, I just would like to ask a friend of mine, by the way, it's Anthony Gucci, he works for you guys, doing HR, screening. Wonderful, wonderful Camden Metro Police Department. Coming. Nobody wants except you and your political boss. Why did you say to the public that you worked so hard for 2 years and stop?
I have no idea.
In my opinion, tell a lie over and over again. That's what you become. You've convinced yourself this metro plan is the only solution. You said, well, why doesn't other people have any recommendations? You know, I think people have had recommendations on how to handle Camden's problems. And that's for half of you people who go to jail where you belong. With that said, and out of the way, November 15th, Freeholder meeting. Good. Hi, I'm speaking. Thank you. Go ahead. November 15th, the meeting, resolution in which you considered an agreement, consented to an agreement from one side of our ordinance and 0.15. Wouldn't you recall it? And how did one side of the
If you see Brett afterwards, you can help. What's the resolution?
31. I put it over your rest.
Okay, good.
You said you had 1,100 applicants. You have 1,100 applicants. Why are you still doing radio?
The real question is being rhetorical.
No, it's a real question. You have 1,100 applicants, but you're still spending money.
Well, because we're going to make sure we have as many best qualified candidates that we can gather from the Delaware Valley region.
I don't think you have to go any more further than those officers who are in the police department. Keep it in Camden.
Well, you see, only 162 of them applied. We need 400 officers.
No, you need to keep the Camden City Police Department. And you need to learn how to be respectful, because I think you're ignorant and you're rude. You're just rude. You're rude, you're arrogant, and I don't know how anyone has anything nice to say about it.
Thank you, Mr. Schmidt. Anyone else like to address the board? I don't think you have one more.
My name is Robin Beck, and I don't live in Camden. I live in Gloucester County. I have a lot of friends in Camden. And I just want to know why the residents of Camden weren't given the opportunity to vote on this topic of the Metro Police Department. Why was it that freeholders made the decision and not the community members? That's my concern. In addition, you said you had 1,100 candidates and only 162 previous police officers, but out of the other 1,100 candidates, how many are applying from Camden that aren't police officers?
Okay, your first question was about the vote, and actually, even before Secretary, the governing body of the city of Camden decided that that's the direction we was.
You're part of the governing body.
Not of the city of Camden, no. It's up to the local municipality to make that decision, so it's up to them to make the decision. And,
So what was the decision? Did they tell you why they didn't allow the residents to vote on it?
they decided that they wanted to enter this agreement, and they thought it was in the best interest of the residents.
So we live in a democracy, am I right? So
They
part
were
of being
elected by the
part of, but you still, even though we elect officials, we still have a voice. We don't give the officials a totalitarian state where they just make all the decisions. My second question was, how many residents of Camden, not the police officers that are currently employed, but how many residents of Camden have applied out of 1,100?
None. I don't know. I don't know the number of times.
Okay, thank you.
Subvert the beat up on blacks and Latinos. That's what it is.
One more time, Mr. Robert. From Mr. Engel.
In New Jersey's super rough atmosphere, nothing is sacred beyond conversion to patronage. Seemingly everything Jersey politicians do is designed to help themselves or their friends. Little is done because it is the right thing to do. Sometimes it can be the right thing, but in that case, it's a coincidence. What I'm asking you tonight to do is the right thing. Not just because of the coincidence, but do the right thing for the people of Camden County and the people of Camden City. We know best what we need. I understand your concerns for the residents of Camden City, but bring us together with you. And we ask you to put a moratorium on the Metro Police to do the right thing, because it is the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no other members of the public who wish to address the board, I'll take a motion to close this public hearing. All those in favor? Opposed? Public hearing is closed. Ladies and gentlemen, this time I will now open the floor to the members of the Freeholder Board. I will begin with Freeholder Nash.
Thank you, Director, and to the residents of Runyon and to those who stayed, the council members who stayed, to the mayor, thank you very much for taking the time to be here.
Thank you, Freeholder Rodriguez.
I'd like to also thank our employees who worked very hard in India. Trying to have to streamline a lot, but we really got much issues to plate. Particularly proud of our department of rules for doing such an awesome job. Moving forward with great stuff. Thank you.
Thank you. Freeholder Kente.
Try to get our act together and try to provide services at the time that we can. I wanted to publicly thank our Department of Public Safety for all the hard work over the last few months, rolling out our advanced communication system. Public assistance, Chief Fire Marshal Shamrock for the appointment. And just continue to hold together.
Thank you, Deputy Director. Go
Thank you, Director. Thanks everyone for coming and for your comments. For the compliments, of course. Thanks for being here. Good to see you. And congratulations also to all. And have a good evening.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, as of today, there have been 6 murders this year in the city of Camden. This time last year, there were 3 murders. That means murders this year in the city of Camden are at a pace double last year's pace, which was a record year of 67 murders. And a murder rate higher than the nation of Honduras, and a poverty rate similar to that of third world nations. What is amazing to me, as you chuckle about these comments, is that no one who comes forward and opposes this plan talks about the rights of those who are victims of the city of Camden every day. Every day. Instead, people choose to fight for unions that for 4 or 5 years have decided they do not want to engage in serious negotiations and to operate under a city that is so broke that recently an arbitrator awarded 0, 0, 0, 0 increases for the police superior union. The only way to get the 400 police officers in the city is to start over. And that's what we're doing. 162 existing police officers have applied. Those who are qualified, we will do our best to hire. That's why we're doing what we're doing. Nobody should live under the circumstances that exist in the city of Camden. Nobody. And we're not going to let it happen. I'd like to thank the employees of Camden City for everything they did. Right on behalf of the county and the motion adjourned. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion adjourned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.